Everything went up this cycle. AI, stocks, Nvidia, everything, Nasdaq, just crypto is the only asset class that went down. In this video, I'm going to show exactly what's going on behind the scenes and what's happening in reality and exactly what's gonna come next. This is gonna be such an important thing, so if you stick till the end, I'm gonna offer something different that I've never done before. But before I get started, for everyone new, I'm CryptoGit, made over 5,000 texts in my journey. Now I'm documenting everything that I do online for free so people can learn and have what I didn't have on my early days. Just for reference, I called basically the people to buy the crash in March 2020 the exact bottom. All the coins went to the moon, and I told everyone actually to sell and get out at the right time too. Everything is verifiable. Don't trust what I say, verify. So what I'm gonna show, let's go to basically the last cycle before we jump to what's currently going on. So in 2021, what happened with the crypto space is that the majority of this pump on Bitcoin was fueled from the money printing, right? So what happened during the virus that came at this stage here, and the whole world actually was shut down, what happened is that they printed money. At this time, they printed around 6 trillion. So that's what happened. 6 trillion were printed. All the money that was basically staying on bonds that offered really great yield moved to risk assets. Because if you have bonds that's, let's say, before they paid 3-4% a year and interest rates came down, those bonds made no sense because interest rates were zero. Money was being printed, meaning that it was devalued, and what investors did, they rushed on risk assets, and crypto is the only asset class that moved the quickest. So back then in 2020, we didn't have any kind of regulations that basically institutions could join. We didn't have any ETFs. We had some companies that could buy, but still it was so hard. So all of this thing was fueled, as I said, from the money printing. And what you have to realize is that every time the government prints, they usually print more money. So what happened? Last time, basically in 2020, they printed around 6 trillion. Inflation and all this time, basically at the top somewhere here in end of 2021, reached around 9%, which was one of the highest in a long time. Imagine 9%. And do you really believe it's 9%? That's what they reported, but let's be honest, what is that? So what you have to realize is this thing. In 2008, in recession, they printed actually 1.5 trillion. So basically we went from 2008 1.5 trillion to 2020 to 6 trillion. So you see that every time they print, they do at least 2-3x more. So I believe the next big print that is coming is going to be, at least in my own opinion, from 8 to 12 trillion dollars. And let's get back to the current cycle and what's going on. So let's get first, you might ask, like, why they gotta print. First of all, it's not something that they want to do, but there will be a crisis somewhere and it will be eventually coming, like it happened last time. Now, what you have to realize is this. Economy currently is destroyed. Economy is currently much worse than 2008. The consumer sentiment today is basically at the lowest point ever, lower than 2008, lower than last cycle, lower than every time, meaning that investor is basically the consumer, the average person is crashed, AI is taking all the jobs, everyone is struggling more than they did before. So I believe the next money print, in my own opinion, and it might change, I might be wrong on this, but I have a big feeling that it might come from AI. Why I say AI is because the majority of growth on stock market and actually growth in US is coming from AI. Only on the past 2-3 years, AI has raised, like, all the money that have gone to AI is more than $3 trillion. Look at SpaceX IPO, look at Anthropic, look at OpenAI. It's going to be the biggest IPOs ever. And there would be something that would break. Maybe Trump will market like, we need to win the AI race and we're going to print it for China. But we will see. I think the money print, it's eventually coming. Just the reason would be something that we have to determine later. So what's something that many people don't realize is that it's okay to not actually know exactly when they're going to print. Because, for example, you might ask me and be like, when they're going to print. I think it's going to be 2027, but I might be completely wrong and I have no idea. Because what you have to realize is that this events, when they print or a big crash comes, it's something that no one can predict 100%, right? Because that's why it's hard. That's why it gets people unprepared. Like when we bought the bottom here, no one could imagine we would have this kind of crash. We all thought we'd go like this to the moon, and no one imagined this kind of crash that we had back then at this time on BTC. But it happened because we had the virus. But what most people don't get is that even 1 month before the lockdowns came, when the whole world shut down at this time here, you know what everyone said? Economy is doing amazing. I remember Fed FOMC meeting, they were saying economy is good. Yeah, the virus might be a little bit problem, but everything is fine. So 1-2 months before the whole world shut down, no one could predict it. And you're telling me today everyone is going to predict the next thing that's going to happen? It's very hard. So understand that that would come, but no other person will go and be like, yeah, it's going to come at this date 100%, because that's what those events bring. They bring max uncertainty, so they get you unprepared for the next money print. If you're enjoying this video, I'm going to tell something pretty quick. So I run a free Telegram community where I've shared over 500 voice notes, pure knowledge, everything for free. What I'm doing different today only at this video is I'm going to give one person 1 year access to my inner circle, or called differently private community. This costs more than 4 figures a year to join. I'm picking someone inside my free Telegram next week to join. So you'll get early access to every coin I'm accumulating right now. They got like 30-50x potential. By the way, last cycle we did 200x. I called the top. You can verify everything. You got customers which you can ask, and etc. Exclusive live AMAs, direct one-on-one access, my personal portfolio allocation framework, and full access to my liquidity providing strategy, earning 15 to 30% a year annually. There will be one person. Just click the link below in the comments or in the bio. It's all free. Join and you'll have all the details, and let's get back to the video. So now that we know that they're gonna print money, what we have this cycle is a Clarity Act, meaning that this is so huge and many people are not understanding the true impact that Clarity Act can create. So with Clarity Act, for the first time, crypto will have clear rules, meaning that for the first time ever, let's say pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and all institutional capital can join crypto with clear rules. Before, it was so hard to buy crypto. Pension funds couldn't join because there wasn't a clear rule. Companies couldn't hold it because there weren't real regulations or rules, and it was so hard. Now, for the first time ever, they would be able to do that with Clarity Act being approved, which very likely is going to come soon. Now, what most people don't get, and this is some interesting statistic, is that this is going to bring a lot of money. And this is going to bring a lot of money, especially also when the print is going to come. Because what happens? Last time, what happened is that they printed money, basically, as I said, in 2020. So the value of money being printed went exponential. You see here in 2020, they went like crazy. But what happened with that is that also inflation went up. Now, as I said even earlier, when Fed interest rates come low, when they print money, all the institutional capital is locked on bonds. Bonds, let's say they offer 3, 4, 5% a year, 3.5%, something like that today. Now, the reason why this is so big is because all the institutional capital, when they're going to print money, which is going to be probably larger than the last time, and they're going to devalue the currency, and the inflation will be through the roof, you think they will sit and not buy crypto when they have the Clarity Act, meaning that they can do it for the first time ever? And when also tokenization is coming and stablecoins are here, it's a simple question. It's a simple puzzle or math that you can see based on what happened last cycle. Last cycle, we had all this rally just from basically a few institutions and retails, because we had like Grayscale, that's only kind of form of ETF, but no clear rules. Today, they're going to print more than they did last time, very, very likely, and they're going to devalue the currency more. Inflation is going to go higher. You think that all this money, like pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, they're dumb and they're going to leave it by doing nothing? Of course not. They're going to put it on Bitcoin. BlackRock is telling you that tokenization is where internet is in 1996. This is what BlackRock is saying. These are not my words. Why this is so big? Because with tokenization, every asset you own is going to be built on blockchain. Stocks, bonds, even real estate will soon be on blockchain. So everything will be so liquid, moving through the blockchain. Stablecoins are so huge because for the first time ever, they got a low in America, meaning that they're backed by US Treasury. So if tokenization grows, if stablecoins grow, this is beneficial for crypto because all of these things are happening in crypto. And this is not about, because I marked it wrong, I'm not saying if those are gonna grow. Those are gonna grow. It's not about if, it's about just when. Because when BlackRock applies, when all the institutions like DTCC that manages all the issuance of the stocks, that controls over 100 trillion jumps on crypto, you think they have any doubts? Like, if those guys don't control the world, who control it? So all those things are currently happening. Of course, they don't have the biggest adoption today, but they are happening. So my point is that when tokenization is here, stablecoins are growing more, meaning that the US government is relying on them. Because what most people don't get is that they think like, but what have stablecoins to do? They have to do, because US governments is using stablecoin as a buyer of their debt. All the countries are dumping the US debt. Stablecoins are the buyers, meaning that they need stablecoins more than just they need to make you rich because they need to bring some crypto pumps. This is not about making you rich or crypto pumps. This is about the infrastructure that the US economy is being built. And something that many people don't get is AI. AI is going to use crypto. And I see not many people talk about this thing. Everyone is talking about right now SpaceX IPO, Anthropic, and all those companies like OpenAI, and how they raise a lot of capital. But you guys need to realize of something. AI needs crypto more than crypto needs AI. Because in the future, when we're going to have robots, AI agents doing transactions with each other, what do you think they're going to use? They're going to use crypto. An AI agent can't open a bank account, can't even pass the KYC. So how are they going to open a bank account in London or in America when they can just in 2-3 seconds create a crypto wallet? Like, they can create a crypto wallet in seconds, and they can use stablecoins which are basically backed by the US government. So they're taking zero risk, and all the money is flowing to crypto. So when all those things are coming, which are 20x bigger than the last cycle, now the question is, what would be the impact? And I took some really great numbers so you can understand what happened basically in the past 2 years. So the first Bitcoin ETFs were approved in January 2024. I think so. Yeah, January 2024. What happened from 2024 till the end of basically 2025, we had Bitcoin going from around 40k to 125. So approximately Bitcoin did the 3x with 57 billion of ETF inflows. So meaning that during this time, all the money that flowed on Bitcoin ETFs was 57 billion. But this is not just it, because of course there were companies that Michael Saylor like control, Bitmine that Tom Lee controls, and there are also other companies in stock market. So I tried to ask Cloud AI what is the approximate number that flow to Bitcoin with all ETFs plus all the companies and Wall Street and all the institutions. So I tried to basically map out how much institutional capital went to Bitcoin. I'm not touching retail, I'm just touching institutional. So the data showed that around 150 billion in total went from 2024 to 2025. And why this is important? Because if 150 billion made Bitcoin move a 3x, what do you think will happen when they print and when all the money that sits probably in pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, and all the institutional capital is going to join a bit? Like, let me tell you something really, really funny, which you need to realize. Only in last year, I think in Q1, Q2, AI companies raised 200 billion. Just only in one quarter, I think so, in 2025. Not full year. 200 billion. So you're telling me that it's not going to come to crypto soon? It's all numbers. And I think in the past 3-4 years, AI companies have absorbed over 3 trillion. So why I show you this? Because crypto is really the asset class that is really undervalued today. So I took just, for example, US pension funds. Do you know how they are? They are nearly 50 trillion. Can you imagine when they drop the rates if just 0.0 something % goes to Bitcoin? Bitcoin is going to skyrocket. And this is based on the math of what happened in 2024, 2025 with 150 billion. I'm not touching retail. I'm telling you institutional capital. So here's the size. I took some data. Pension funds, 50 trillion. 150 billion is like 0.3%. Like, do you think 0.3 will not enter? Even 1 is so small, because if everything will gonna be built on crypto AI and crypto stablecoins, tokenization, and we have clear rules. You think not even 1% will be? Some market advisors and banks are starting to tell investors to allocate over 3%, sometimes 10%. So global pension fund, this is by the way just US, right? Global pension funds are 68 trillion. Sovereign wealth funds are 15 trillion. US 401k, they are 24 trillion. Global institutional money is 60 trillion. Stock market is 124. So basically total global wealth is, let's say, 900 trillion. Like, you don't believe there's some kind of portion of all of this entering to crypto when all of this is gonna come? Like, these are not things that, for example, 8 to 12 trillion dollar prints is my prediction. Of course, numbers might be different, but that's what I believe. But even if the print is not gonna come, you think, which it will, because it might happen, it needs to happen, you get my point. Clarity Act, tokenization, stablecoins, AI using crypto, you think this is not enough? So the question that we have today is why we're going down. And the reason why is exactly this thing. If all of those things are coming together, do you really believe they will make it so easy for you so everyone can get rich that easily and everyone can ride and be a millionaire? Or they want to destroy completely the cycles, they want to destroy completely the average person, destroy the altcoins, and then bring the pumps when most people are bored and most people left. Because what's going on right now is that people don't care about what I showed here because they're tired, man. They understand and they might know this, but they be like, I don't care, blah, 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 I don't care, I don't give a shit, I want to see it once it happens. They're tired, right? And I get that because we as humans tend to think based on what we have been through, because if all we have been through this cycle is pain, it's hard to actually tell someone that we will go up. It's, for example, there's a funny story. Bitcoin did 2500x. It went to $25, then it dipped 92%. Like, if you bought at $25 and it went to $2, you would be like the worst guy in the world, right? Because you bought at 25, it went to 2. Imagine you experience a 92% decline, and one guy is coming and telling you that Bitcoin one day will hit $10,000 when you bought it at 26 and you saw it going down at 92%. You'd call that guy delusional. Same, a lot of people might call me like, you don't know what you're talking about because we've been only down. And I get that, but you have to keep in mind to look at fundamentals, not what's going on. And you can see, for example, what happened. Like, there's never been a history in crypto that basically Bitcoin peaked in October 2025. But look what's funny. Stocks have been only going up from October 2025. This was the time, you see, have been only going up. They're just up. Yes, they have a small decline, but they went up. So there's never been why I say this is a manipulation and why I say they want you out before the next big money enters here. I tell you all of this because there's never been a time in Bitcoin, since Bitcoin was created, that stocks have gone up for more than 8 months while crypto has gone down for 8 months. Like, there's never been like stocks up 8 months, crypto down 8 months. Like, there should be, sorry if I made it wrong, stocks up 8 months and crypto down 9 months. So there's never been a time in history that stocks went up and crypto went down. They're always correlated, and if there was some kind of decorrelation, it might be probably with 1 or 2 months, but 8 months, this is clearly a sign why they want everyone out. And I hope you understand that, and I hope you get what's coming, because let me tell you something that is very important. So let me go to the Amazon chart. Amazon is like a clear example basically on what's going on today in crypto, because in the year of 2000, you see this chart here, in the year of 2000, Amazon dipped 95%. It was brutal, 95%. Can you imagine? Imagine experiencing all of this. But what people missed at this kind of dip here is they just judged the coin, sorry, because we've been used to crypto, the stock, by the price. They couldn't see that Amazon at the time was growing only fundamentally in terms of revenue, company, everything. Like, even Jeff Bezos at that time said that we are only growing. It's just the price that and the chart that is going down. So when fundamentals are strong and the price is down, that's an opportunity. And look what happened later on. It was only history. Look, it's up to the right. So why I'm telling you this right now? Because a lot of people are completely ignoring what is happening behind the scenes. and they're just looking at the price and be like, yeah, 40-50k Bitcoin, I'm gonna wait, I'm not gonna do anything, and yeah, it's gonna bottom soon. You have to realize of something. If all of those things are coming, the cycle is gonna be hard. Like when Trump got elected in 2025, I kind of fell for that narrative, to be honest, is that we all believe like he launched a meme coin and then everyone would get rich that easily. Now that I see things after, I think that kind of shakeout was needed, because look what happened in 2025. Trump got elected somewhere here. Let's say the first of 2025, January started here. What happened? He launched Trump meme coin. Everyone became so euphoric. At that time, I got friends that I never heard for many years messaging me about should we buy that. Every single person on earth knew about that meme coin. And that was kind of the biggest extraction, right? Because we only went down. What happened? Later on, in basically a few weeks, we said Trump is going to pump everything. He's going to pump everything because it's 1 year after halving. He needs to be super bullish, right? What happened? He bring tariffs that no one expected. Then we had the biggest crash. Then what happened? Out of nowhere, when everyone says the thing sell in May and go away, we had the biggest pumps. We saw Ethereum jumping from 1.5 to actually 4.9 at the time that no one expected. Then what happened? At the Q4, which needed to be the most bullish thing, everyone got wrecked. Why I tell you this? I tell you this because the manipulation is like crazy. They want you out. When the crowd believes something, it's probably the time to think about the opposite. And something that you need also to realize, and it's my last thing, is that when all of this is coming, all of these things is coming, what you have to realize is that you have to take action early, not when all of this is happening. Because when all of this is coming, you will miss a lot of opportunities and most of the moves would be priced in. Let me show you with one example on Ethereum. So what happened during this kind of time here, like from this moment till here, like for 28 days, you know what news came here? At this time, if you scroll the news, you can see that Ethereum was the most shorted coin from hedge funds at this time. Look where it came. Everyone, once they saw that news, they become bearish and be like, oh, Ethereum is a dead and shit coin. What happened 2 weeks later was the bottom. So my point is that that kind of news came somewhere around here. But the majority of move was already done. And at this time, you needed to think about the opposite. Because when a news like that comes, it's already priced in and it's there to manipulate you. So even today, you think like, oh, I don't know if that's going to come, and yeah, maybe if it comes, I'm going to pull the trigger. That's not how smart investors react. Because if you wait for this to pull the trigger, probably 70% of moves would be gone. And there's a simple thing that you can check. Let's not complicate it. January 2024 was Bitcoin ETF's approval. We're here, right? So this is the time where Bitcoin ETF approved. So how did you make money if you took action earlier, knowing that maybe one day, not maybe, they were theories one day would come, so taking action here or taking action after? Like, who you made more money if you bought Bitcoin at 20 or after like 50k? That's why I'm telling you that you need to pull the trigger early and not later, because later you're gonna miss so many opportunities. And don't forget to join in my free Telegram community and not miss the thing that I told you earlier about having access to my private community, and you're getting like more than 4 figures cost for free, and it's a private access that I'm gonna do just next week. So don't forget to subscribe, and more videos are coming.